Here's what's true. They are trying to kill us. We need to be in solidarity in order to survive. And we need to do more than just survive. We need to know ourselves. So where do we start? In 2022, when true scum were blowing up the trans internet, Jessie Gender made a video about a certain someone in which she offered us the following definition of transness.
What being transgender is, again, oversimplifying here, is not identifying with your gender identity assigned at birth.
This is the definition we need for political organizing. As an umbrella term, it brings the greatest number of us together around the major shared aspect of our identities, the aspect which unites us because it puts us most in danger. Trans people are not the genders we were assigned at birth. And that fact pulls the rug out from under the blind faith that they have, that they don't even know they have in their own genders. So they get afraid, and then they get angry, and then they get violent. And because they are powerful, they codify their violence into law. We know the story. Trans people are not the gender we were assigned at birth. This is our solidarity definition, and we need it. And yet, it's also a definition without content. It's totally negative. It speaks only to what we are not. And because it has arisen from the need to organize politically, it has baked into it the gaze of our oppressors. I am not the gender I was assigned at birth. Who did that assignment? Teacher, I think my assignment was graded wrong. Can I get the deadline extended, please, on my gender identity? I just need like a few more years. On this day of revelation, how can we dream beyond the frameworks of our oppressors, even as we are hunted and killed? How can we learn to call each other by our true names amidst the infinite constellation of our reality? And now, sit up and pay attention as my teacher, the Kefulah, reads to us from the Zohar itself, the foundation of our mystical tradition. Welcome, initiates, to my circle of seekers. I am the Kefulah, the doubled letter, the trans channel of primordial waters. Prepare your minds and open your souls to receive mysteries of the Zohar revealed in worlds beyond comprehension. Rabbi Shimon said, "Woe to the person who said that the Torah is intended to present mere stories and ordinary words. For if so, we could compose a Torah right now with ordinary words and more sublime than all of them. If intended to present mere stories and matters of the world, why, even worldly potentates possess words more sublime. They have the best words. If so, let us follow them and make a Torah out of them." But all the words of the Torah correspond to the following pattern. Come and see. The worlds above and the worlds below are evenly balanced. Israel below, supernal angels above. And of the angels it is written, "Ze makes their angels spirits." This pertains to the celestial realm. But when they descend below, although they descend, they don garments of this world. If they do not come clothed in the garments of this world, then they cannot endure in this world, nor can this world endure them. If this is so with the angels, then concerning Torah, who created them and created all worlds which exist for her sake, when she descends to this world, if she does not don clothing of this world, then the world cannot endure. So this story of Torah is the garment of Torah. Whoever thinks that the garment is the real Torah and not something else, may their spirit expire. They will have no share in the world that is coming. Therefore, David said, uncover my eyes, so I can see wonders out of your Torah, what is beneath the garment of Torah. Come and see, there is a garment visible to all. Those fools, when they see someone in a good-looking garment, look no further. But the significance of the garment is the body. The significance of the body is the soul. Corresponding to this pattern, the Torah has a body, and words of Torah called bodies of Torah. This body is clothed in a garment, namely the stories of this world. Fools of the world look only at the garment, the story of Torah. Those who know more look at what is beneath the garment, the body of Torah. The wise, those servants of the supernal ruler, those who stood at Mount Sinai, look only at the soul, root of all, real Torah. And in the world that is coming, they are destined to gaze on the soul of Torah. Woe to the wicked who say that Torah is merely a story. They look at this garment and no further. Happy are the righteous who look at Torah properly. Just as wine must sit in a bottle, so too Torah must sit in a garment. Therefore, concerning Torah, one must look only at what is beneath the garment. So all these words, all these stories are garments. To summarize, at Mount Sinai, the Torah's body was visible to us all. Scandalous. But what the wise saw when they looked wasn't her body, it was her soul. In the Talmud, the mitzvahs are called bodies of Torah. And here we learn that the significance of the mitzvahs is that they enclose the Torah's soul, making it visible to us. In this way, adornment and concealment are paths to revelation. If the body clothes the soul, then what clothing does our tradition give us to wrap our trans selves in? Are we simply forbidden or permitted nothing more than soulless bodies? Or is our inheritance greater? How can we merit to say that we have stood at Sinai and that there we saw each other's souls? Let me attempt to offer my own positive framework of trans identity. One that is from my particular subject position as a trans female Jew who's interested in halacha, which I understand as the system of paths by which we as Jews strive to live sacred lives. Svara's Trans Halacha Project published the first ever collection of tshuvot, halachic responses, written 100% by trans Jews, among them me. And in my essay, Be Whole, a halachic approach to gender and transition, I laid out the technical arguments and the legal ramifications for the framework I'm about to offer here. If you're interested in the deep dive, I encourage you to go check the piece out, along with the other work by my co-conspirators. Just as the body clothes the soul, my deeper purpose in writing that essay was a spiritual one. I wanted to know what the Torah has to teach me about being trans, what guidance it might have to offer me in keeping the sacred centered in my transition, especially against the medical world that wants to limit my meaning to my body. If we need to be seen to be known, I think I've found a way that the Torah sees me in my transness. Not only sees me, but blesses me. Bezras Hashem, may it bless you too. Here we go. In Be Whole, I argue that among the bodies of Torah, there is one mitzvah that tells us that our gender transitions constitute sacred service. That mitzvah comes to us in the verse, Tamim Tika Im Hashem Elokecha. be whole with Hashem your God. Alert! Alert! I know that the word wholeness has an ableist history, and that using it inevitably evokes anti-trans and trans-medicalist connotations. And the Hebrew word, tamim, is unfortunately not much better. So that's the word we've got. The best I have right now is that you should listen to what I have to say and let me know if it is ableist, please. But my intention is to show that the wholeness of this mitzvah is an at-oneness of the heart. Dafka, not an imposition of an ideal image onto the body, which would be idol worship. Alert over! Again, if you want the play-by-play of how I concluded that this verse guides us in our transitions, read the essay. But right here, I'm hoping that this one paragraph from the Ramban will convince you. Just listen to this and tell me that it isn't about biological gender essentialism. The explanation of "you shall be whole with Hashem your God" is that we shall wholly dedicate our hearts to Zir and believe that Z alone does all things, and Z is the one who knows the real truth of every future event. And we should not inquire of the stargazers or of their ilk, nor should we trust that their words will be fulfilled with certainty. Rather, if we do hear a statement from them, we should say, "Everything is in the hands of heaven, for Z is the God of the powers, supreme over everything, all-powerful, who alters the arrangements of the stars and the constellations as Z wishes, and abrogates the signs of the stargazers, and makes fools of the diviners." And so we should believe that everything that occurs to a person is commensurate with how the person has made themselves close to the service of God. And this verse is a positive commandment. Hashem alone does all things. Don't trust the stargazers. Hashem alters the arrangements of the constellations at will. Whatever happens to you is commensurate with how close you make yourself. Tell me that's not about transness. Signs of gender are star signs. If you take the equation of gender determination to astrology as seriously as I do, you arrive at some fun conclusions. 1. Astrology has, at least to the rabbis' minds, some degree of truth to it. And yeah, we do gender people based on how we read the way their stars are arranged. But according to this mitzvah, we shouldn't. 2. Astrology relies on what the eye can see. Trusting in Hashem means belief in a truth that has no empirical evidence. And every trans person begins their journey as an act of faith in the truth of a gender that has no visible signs. That is the core of the consciousness of this mitzvah. 3. Even when the signs do come true, we know that the stars are not the real cause. Hashem is. Even though I now have what were once described as perfect breasts, I know that they are not the cause of my femaleness. I am a woman for reasons beyond my comprehension, honestly, and I am whole with Hashem about that. This mitzvah, to be whole with Hashem, our God, calls us to believe in the truths of our genders, the ones that have no visible proof, the ones for which there are no signs. Those are the truths that we trust in. And they can change over time, because the work of this mitzvah is not concrete fulfillment of a preordained physical goal. It is a call to a lifelong process. Now, I promised not to get bogged down in the details, but I do want to share a couple of practical outgrowths that I see from this mitzvah because the discourse on transness in Judaism is so twisted and so disempowering these days. Hashem, please let that line be outdated by the time this video is released. Amen Selah. Note that I am not giving psak here, actual actionable halachic decisions. For that, you should consult your rabbi, who is fully conversant in trans issues in the Torah and in halacha, and who knows you personally really, really well. God help us all. Number 1, any transition thing you want or need to do to feel more gender joy in your life, whether that's surgery or HRT or wearing tattered fishnet stockings, it's a mitzvah to do that, both in the sense that it's a good thing to do that we value as a community, and also in the sense that it is a literal Torah obligation. Just if you already keep Shabbos, don't break it for this. 2, dead naming someone is a violation of the Torah. As the Rambam teaches, you should not remind someone who has made tshuva of their past. 3, communities often have funds set up to enable people to perform expensive mitzvahs. Gender transition should be among the mitzvahs that our communities have funds for. If these tickled your fancy, there's lots more in the essay. Link below, just saying. When we stood at Sinai, the wisest among us saw not the Torah's body, but its soul. The revelations that we can see with the seeing of the eye are actually the lowest level. The dream of revelation is to see beyond the judgments that we make of fear and desire based on what we can see. When we know that bodies are nothing more than the clothing of the soul, we are ready to receive the revelations that really matter. The trans coalition, unified around a negatively defined umbrella term, is what we need to demand our health and our lives from power. But I'm also searching for content to my identity, for wisdom and guidance about what my purpose is in this trans Jewish life. And for that, I turn to our Torah. I want to know more about my body than that it makes me a target. In the Torah, my body becomes a constellation of shimmering stars, and Hashem calls all of them and all of me by the true names. Just as no one can capture all of what gender is, there is no end to what it can mean to be trans. In trying to offer a positive, contentful framing of transness, I don't mean for that to be a definition that boxes us in. Being trans is on the deepest levels incomprehensible, an identity without sign or prediction, and that is where our magic lies. But I don't want to be at the mercy of the discourse for guidance and self-understanding. In my search for a deeper well of meaning, I found that my ancient tradition has a great deal actually to offer me about the role that I have to play in the world. If trans people used to be widely acknowledged as spirit bridges, the Torah teaches me now that my role is to be a sign, that the body is not the truth, it is only the barest surface. In transitioning, I am making my body into a sign that the highest truths can be revealed to some degree, even in this world, in this lifetime. I am manifesting the truth that no eye could see. I am here to testify that when we stood at Sinai, we beheld the Torah's soul. And when we all see beyond the decrees of the body and into each other's souls, that is when we will be standing at Sinai again. Thanks for watching, Torah lovers. This video is sponsored in memory of these beloved neshamas. It's also sponsored by Nefesh and the Torah Studio. See you soon.
הפכת מזוודי למחולי, פיתחת שק כבתעזרי ניסימך למען יזמרך חבוא ולא ידום אדוני אלוהי לעולמותיך היה נה 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 נה